We're here with State Senator Kwame Raoul. He represents the 13th District, and I appreciate you taking a little bit of time today. You were in Southern Illinois last month as part of kind of a rural-urban exchange trip. What stood out to you about that trip to downstate?
Well, I came down to Jefferson County again. I had made the trip 3 years ago as part of the Farm Bureau's Adopt a Legislator program, and so I had learned things 3 years ago.
Sure.
About commonalities that we have, and about just learning about some of the differences. So what stood out to me was how easily the group of roughly 50 people that I brought down, meshed with the people in the community in Jefferson County, and were so eager to learn every aspect of what made up the community. So we went to the jail, we went to 3 different schools, we did a couple of farms, folks rode the combines, we did a shooting range, and personally, my wife and I don't allow my 10-year-old son to have a toy gun.
Right.
We let him shoot at the shooting range.
Right.
And part of the reason was we wanted to draw a distinction between recreational use of guns, which I endorse.
Sure.
And the crazy stuff that goes on up in Chicago.
Sure, yeah.
That to tell the story that there's not an inconsistency in allowing people to have, guns to do hunting and target shooting and so forth, as well as, gun, in the home for
protection, sure, yeah.
There's not an inconsistency between that and trying to keep guns out of the hands of criminals.
Sure. Yeah, and you bring that up, and I had a question here more specifically about that. When it comes to gun control in this state is really divided, it seems, north and south. At least that's the perception. Is there a possibility for compromise on that issue, or is it just too contentious to where we could have a right to carry outside of Cook County in the Metro East like Missouri has done? Have you thought about those type of things?
We've got to explore all of these options, but I think one of the base things that we need to do is just come to the conclusion that there's not an inconsistency between the coexistence of folks who loves to utilize guns responsibly,
sure,
and keeping guns out of the hands of folks who can't be responsible with them. I think there's a kind of subconscious conclusion that you've got to be to one extreme or the other.
Right.
And I don't think that is the case. So, for instance, I was speaking to one of my advisors. I said, I want to put this picture of me shooting at the Ren Lake Shooting Complex on my website. I want it to be on my homepage.
Right.
They said, well, that's not going to play well in Chicago. I said, well, we've got to have the willingness to challenge people to think beyond where they normally think.
Yeah, the perceptions of the constituency. Yeah.
Right. So there's nothing wrong with a picture of me shooting in a shooting range and me saying I want to keep a gun out of the hands of a gangbanger.
Sure. Well, that's fair. President Jones is retiring in January. Do you have a person in mind that you'd like to see as Senate President? And secondly, do you expect the tone in Springfield to change with his departure in any way?
Yeah. Now, let me first say that I've got tremendous respect for President Jones. He's allowed me to chair an important pensions investment committee, and has put a lot of faith in my leadership ability. Notwithstanding the fact that I've only been in the Senate for 4 years. He even mentioned me as a potential replacement to Senator Obama. So I have a tremendous respect for him, and I think he gets kind of a raw deal sometimes because he doesn't really invest in PR. He's an old school type of guy and just does what he does and lets people say whatever about him, and as a result, people don't get the full story on President Jones. That said, we've been embroiled in a kind of contentious battle between leaders legislative and the executive leader certainly over the past 4 years that I've been here, and even before that. And so no matter who is the successor, I think we will be moving forward to something, a more cooperative environment in Springfield. My preference, I'm one of the few people in the Senate who's been very open and loud about who I prefer, and that's Jim Claiborne. There's several reasons that I did. One, when I came in, I did ask my predecessor, Senator Obama, who are the people I should reach out to? And several things that he said.
Right.
One, he said, make sure you spend some time on the other side of the aisle, some quality time on the other side of the aisle, and get to know the personalities there. So the other thing is, make sure you spend some time with people from other regions. And he said, with that said, I think Jim Claiborne is a personality that kind of embodies a sensitivity to the entire state.
Right.
He's from the downstate, but he's from the Metro East area. So there's an urban area nearby in St. Louis, but at the same time, he's got the sensitivity to.
You can see the skyscrapers and you can see the cornfields.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that gives him a unique perspective that not many others have. It's either one or the other.
Yeah.
And with having all of our constitutional officers residing in Cook County, currently as it is right now, having the leaders of both chambers residing in Cook County, it makes sense. I believe government should be about balance, and it makes sense that we give downstate an opportunity to have a voice, and who better than Jim Claiborne, who has a sensitivity to urban issues as well,
right? To
create that balance. So I've been pretty open about my support of Jim. There's no big breakthrough yet, as of yet. I'm hearing that the mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Daley, is weighing in heavy, trying to insist that it be somebody
from the city.
From the city. I'm from the city, and
right.
Actually, the mayor's my constituent. But I've got the independence. I've got enough independence to say that I can advocate for some of the legitimate concerns of the city that benefit the city, but also benefit the state
at the same time
as a whole. But I can advocate for some things that are